social media and branding. Maybe you started your company recently, or maybe you started it 10 years ago. Either way, it's critical to brands. On this episode of Connect with Lori, we are going to hear from a marketing expert who has a well-known following. Please join me as I have an in-depth discussion with a man who is on a mission to help 1,000 hungry entrepreneurs. Joe Applebaum from Ajax Union. I'm your host, Lori Caruso. Get ready for some motivation, or as he would say, some motivation. Hey, Joe, how are you? Oh my gosh, I am so excited to have you on this podcast.
I'm so excited to be here. This is amazing. I love how on point your energy on is and how much green you have around you, whether it's real or not real, it doesn't matter. The fact is you are living in the moment. I love it.
Living in the moment. I love that too. Yeah, I do have greens down here. And it's only because I'm in my basement having to do the studio. If I had something real, it would be dark, black. It wouldn't even be working right now for the studio. So we have to do the fake thing.
That's awesome. I love it. And the basement is the place where things really happen. You know, so many businesses started in basements. So many things happen in basements.
Yeah. And given the fact I'm in New Hampshire and it's cold, I'm not going to start in any garage.
Right. Like Microsoft did in, where was it? Nevada?
Warmer weather.
Yeah. Like out there, middle of,
exactly.
Where was it? Oh, I think it's New Mexico. I think Microsoft started in New Mexico. That's where it was. I actually went there to go visit Bill Gates's first place.
You did?
Yeah. I went to New Mexico to kind of just check it out and take a selfie there. I actually I'll send you the selfie if I can find it, but I took a selfie there.
I can't wait to see it. So, all right, Joe, I consider you like my mentor in branding and in social media. And I have to say, like I said, I was so excited when you said yes to being on the show, because I think you have such an important conversation to have for those branders out there, the people that are trying to get their name out there, their company name out there. And I want to talk a little bit about your background and how you do that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to share some insights about, what specifically about my brand do you love so much?
Well, I can tell you, you're everywhere. And every time I see you, whether it's on LinkedIn or Clubhouse now, which we're going to get into a little bit, but you're such a positive flair out there, and your followers are just all over the place. I mean, you've got thousands, right? Thousands?
Yeah. So I have over 30,000 followers on LinkedIn. I have a couple of thousand on Facebook, a couple of thousand on LinkedIn. I just checked my Clubhouse. I have 1,100. For me, it's not necessarily about having lots of followers. I always tell people, I don't want to go viral. I don't want to go viral. I want to deeply connect with people and get to know people that I can actually have a relationship with. You don't live for 1,000,000 years. The two things in life that you don't really have a choice about is when you're going to be born and when you're going to die. You have no choice. You were born and you're going to die without you having a say in any of it. The only thing you do have a say in is how you're going to live. Are you going to be surviving or thriving? So I always tell people, choose to thrive, because otherwise you'll automatically survive. And treading water is not fun. You know what is fun? Floating. Floating.
With a cocktail on my little float in the pool.
Have fun. Jump on your unicorn. Just have freaking fun, because life is short. And if you're here, you may as well have fun. Stress, I heard somebody say this on Clubhouse this morning. Stress is when you're in a situation and you don't want to be in that situation. If you're chronically stressed out in life, it's because you're in life and you don't want to be in life, or you don't want to be in this life, or you don't want something to be happening right now that's happening. Instead of just being in the moment, like Lori, you're in the moment. I love that. I love that you're in the moment. It's very attractive to other human beings, and people want to be part of that. And when I learned that, I realized, you know what? I need to start being myself. The issue is I haven't discovered who myself was. And I was scared of whatever I thought I was. And I was trying to create something different than what I was. And whatever I was trying to create was inauthentic, didn't feel right, and was forced. But I did it anyway. And I pushed through. And I did all this forced stuff that I look back now and I laugh at myself, thinking to myself, that wasn't me. That was who I thought everybody wanted me to be. And when I just show up as me, unapologetically, just show up as me and not fear that people won't like me because other people's opinions are none of my business. Not fear that people won't want to buy from me because people will buy from me if they like me, know me, and trust me. So don't worry about that. If you can deliver value to your target market without worrying about whether they're going to buy or not, but instead just be there of service, people are going to come in droves to buy from you, especially if you have the right program for them. Especially if you're there to solve problems for them, especially if you're already solving problems instead of selling, instead of smelling, connect and build a real relationship and use all your senses to take information in so that you can go out and add value to other people. And Clubhouse, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, my website, all the different things that I have are things that I've put together because my tribe is on there. Because my tribe is on there, because the people that I know, that I like, that I trust, people like you, Lori, you're on there. And that's why I want to be where you are. There's a reason why I'm not on Snapchat. There's a reason why I'm not super active on TikTok and all these other places, because my tribe is not there. My tribe is not actively consuming there. My tribe is on LinkedIn. I have 11,000 CEOs that I'm connected to on LinkedIn.
Wow.
I have 8,700 marketing directors that I'm connected to on LinkedIn. I have hundreds of people that I know, like, and trust that are on Clubhouse, that are actively using the platform, that are on Instagram, that are watching my stories every single day, that are connecting with me. These are the people that I want to build a relationship with. And if you can decide who your people are, your life will change.
Your life will change. I love that. All right. So, Joe, it sounds so easy. You make it sound so easy. So the audience that we're talking to, though, how do they make it easy? I mean, like, this is hard. This is hard. And my curiosity is, how did you get started with it? I mean, you got to start somewhere, but how did you get started?
Well, I make it sound easy, but I actually don't make it sound easy. I'm trying to make it sound simple.
Okay. I like that.
The most complicated, the hardest things in life are actually simple, like doing your daily disciplines. Like if you want to lose weight, for example, I wrote a book called High Energy Secrets. And I talk about how I lost 95 pounds and kept it off. And for me, it's like, oh, I shouldn't be eating donuts. Oh, I shouldn't be eating sugar, flour, rice, potatoes, pasta. I should be drinking half my weight in ounces. I should be breathing instead of smoking. Because smoking essentially is just deep breathing for 5 minutes and putting chemicals in your body. So the key is thinking about these things differently. Now, try to tell a smoker to quit smoking. It's one of the hardest things that somebody can do. Try to tell somebody who has a sugar addiction to cold turkey stop their sugar addiction and just quit. Or a drug addict that's stuck to a certain drug, a prescription drug or whatever it is. Try to tell them to quit. Their body won't let them quit because they are addicted. And the truth is we're addicted to so many different things in our life. And so the answer is not easy. It's not doing the easy route. It's not getting rich quick or losing weight fast. It's doing the daily disciplines, the simple things that are obvious, not trying to go find new ideas, but doing the things that we already know will work instead of trying to get that shortcut in life. And so for you, if you want to brand yourself, know that it will be hard not to listen and believe the opinions of other people. It will be hard for you to put yourself out there and not worry so much about the judgment, about the guilt, about the loneliness. It is lonely on the top. When I became a multimillionaire, when I started my business, I was nothing. I had nothing. But when I became a multimillionaire, when I grew my business to be on the top of the Inc. 500, and suddenly I'm running a business with 75 full-time people and I'm doing all these things. And then I look back at myself. I'm 265 pounds. My self-confidence is in the shitter. I don't do public speaking. I'm afraid of writing. I'm afraid of networking. Is that success? Having money? I thought if I had the money, all the problems would go away. But that's when all the problems were aggravated. So if somebody can give me advice back down when I was 20, I would say, take a moment and look at yourself. What are your values? And at that point, it was hard for me to even think about values because all I was focused on is how do I become financially independent? How do I make money? How do I succeed? Because to me, success was making money. But the truth is there's so many more facets to success, and success is personal. So whenever somebody says, I'd like to be successful, I say, what does success mean to you? Because if you're defining success by what your mother thinks successful is, or by what your cousin or your rabbi or your mentor or your priest or whoever it is, you're never going to get there, because when you get there, that won't be success for you. When you get all your goals met that are based on somebody else's expectations of you, you will never be satisfied. So if you want to be fulfilled and successful, you got to figure out what fills up your heart. You got to figure out what fills up your heart, and figuring that out has to do with what are your values? What are your strengths? What is your why? Like asking yourself these deep questions. And we take our students through our goal setting masterclass every year around January time. And the reason we do that is because people need to identify this information. And this is not information you come up with. You don't come up with your purpose. You don't come up with your with who you are. You discover it. You discover it. This is something that you are meant to discover, but you have to open up your eyes. The problem is we have blind spots. The problem is that we cannot read the label while we're sitting inside the jar. When we're inside the box, we cannot think outside the box. We're living in the box. So you have to be like the jack and jump out of the box, and it'll be painful. And everyone might laugh at you or roll their eyes or like, oh, it's a midlife crisis. What happened all of a sudden? You're expressing yourself. Who are you even? And all the little voices in our head. And we are our own worst critic. We heard it all the time. But the truth is, we got to take a step back and look at our life and ask ourselves, what do we want? Where do we want to be 10 years from now? How do we want to live our lives? What type of impact do we need to make? What are the things that frustrate us? You know, when you follow your frustrations, it leads you to your greatest fears, because the frustration is a form of fear. But when you follow it, when you try to figure out, okay, why is this frustrating me? Why does this bother me? Why does this bother me so much? Why does it bother me so much that I'm afraid of networking? Why does it bother me so much that I'm afraid of public speaking? Why does it bother me so much when people reject me? Why does that bother me so much? When you follow that, you'll realize that you have a deep fear inside you that you want to be loved, or whatever the fear is, that you may not be loved or you may not be valuable enough. And when you overcome that fear, when you learn how to deal with it, when you learn how to control the fear instead of allowing the fear to control you, when you find yourself in a place of like, I see my fear, well, that's when the fear disappears, because fears can only exist in darkness, in blind spots. And so when you take a look at those fears, fear stands for false evidence appearing real, which means you're going to create all these proof and all this evidence that you're not good enough, that you're not loved, that you don't have enough value, that you're not attractive enough, or whatever it is that you're going to tell yourself, those self-limiting beliefs that we have that stop us from being authentically alive. We all strive to just be alive. And when we see a rock star on stage, they don't have the prettiest voice. They don't look the most symmetrical, right? The rock star is just being and expressing themselves with everything they have. And if they wouldn't be doing that, they wouldn't be a rock star. They would just be a folk singer or somebody that's not giving their all. When you see a comedian giving their all, when you see a CEO giving their all, when you see somebody on a podcast just giving what they have and just being present, that's power. That creates connectivity. And that's what human beings want. If you want to be attractive, then just be yourself. You are attractive to your tribe already. Stop trying to be attractive to everybody, because you're not for everybody. You're not for everybody. You're for somebody. When you figure out who you're for and what your mission is, and then you attach your purpose, your values, your strengths, your why, and you put it all together, you become unstoppable.
Unstoppable. I love that. And you know, you hit it. You really did. I mean, when I started my company, oh my gosh. I mean, it took me years to even think that I could do it. And then the fear set in. Of course, the fear sets in every single day. But you're absolutely right. When you wake up in the morning and you have that glimmer of fear, you got to make sure that there's a massive glimmer of positive energy that's floating through your body. And the only way you can do that is first mindset, right? But second, having a really important mentor or somebody who's helping you push you through that when you have those bad days. And that's why, Joe, that's why I've taken like such a big positive liking to you, my friends, because every single time I'd hear you, I'd hear that you just need to get up, get going and do it. And you're going to do it the best you can because you have the heart and soul in it. And that's the way you need to run your company, run your life, run your world. I love it.
I always tell people motivation is like a bath. You need it every day. Because some people complain, oh, it doesn't last. You know, it's just hot air. It's just hot water, but you do it every day. So you need that motivation. You need that inspiration. You need to engage in it. And we're all going to wake up with fears. We have childhood wounds. We got a wound when we were 9. We got another wound when we were 17. We got a couple of wounds in our early 20s. And then we allow those wounds to control us as an adult. because of some fear of something that might happen that absolutely will not happen unless we have the fear and we make it happen by attracting that. The more you subscribe to your fears, the more you're making them real. So instead, focus on what you want. Focus on your goals. Focus on what you want to accomplish instead of focusing on what you don't want. The law of attraction is real because what you focus on expands. Where focus goes, energy flows. And I told myself a couple of years ago that I was going to be a published author, but that made shivers down my spine. Like, me? Me? Who am I to be able to write? Right?
Yeah. Whoa.
Like, what? And now I just published my 4th book on Amazon. My goal is to publish another 6 before I'm 50. I'm 41 right now. And you know what? It makes me feel so good to be able to share my insights. And this book that I wrote, High Energy Purpose, it wrote itself. I didn't even write this. This is about awareness and purpose and how to find your internal purpose and connect it with your external purpose and like figuring out who you really are. Like, wow, I didn't even have to write it because it just wrote itself. I just had a passion to just basically get this out of my system, and I expressed myself without necessarily overthinking it. And then it turned into this concept. And so if you're able to do that, realize it's never going to be easy because it's 3 times easier to be negative than to be positive. Look at the science. It's so much easier to be negative. You need to use 3 times the amount of energy to be positive than it is to be negative. So most people are sitting on the couch being negative, complaining, because your mind is automatically going to try to get you to what? To survive. In order to thrive, you got to work 3 times harder. In order for you to move in the water, you got to work a lot harder than just to tread water. Treading water is kind of easy. You know, you're kind of there, you're just treading, you tread. But if you want to actually get somewhere, get to the island, get to the treasure, you got to hustle. You got to use your hands, you got to use your legs, you got to maneuver, you got to float a little bit, you got to rest, you got to keep going, and you got to break a sweat, and it's hard. And sometimes your muscles give you pain. Sometimes you get pain, but pain with purpose is power.
Pain with purpose. I love it. Joe, this is amazing. I am so excited. Pain, no gain, right? I hear it all the time. I've heard it all the time. My mom used to say it. Pain has to be part of your success. And that's pretty powerful, like you said. So, Joe, I love the background. We're going to get into that in a second. I want to hear all about that. And I also want to hear, what's Clubhouse? I know that's coming up. We have to understand what that is. And I know you're really involved with that. So we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back after these messages. Engineering Wireless Services, EWS, provides comprehensive turnkey design, build, maintenance, upgrade, management, and consulting services in the cellular, public safety, and private LTE telecom business sectors. EWS has the experience, resources, and technical skills required to meet our customers' needs while ensuring compliance with complex local, state, and federal regulations. For more information on how EWS can help your communication needs, please call 480-968-6000 or visit our website, engineeringwireless.com. Externet is the leading private owner and operator of converged communications infrastructure, delivering advanced mobility and fiber connectivity both indoors and out. Focused on delivering tomorrow's connectivity today, Externet designs, builds, and operates future-proof, ultra-fast, high bandwidth, low latency, and highly secure networks, all based on industry standards. Whether customers need fiber-connected small cells, neutral host in-building wireless networks, private wireless networks utilizing the CBRS 3.5 GHz spectrum, mobile edge computing with Externet's Edge Hub, or enterprise connectivity solutions, Externet has your 5G solutions covered for all of your wireless needs. For more information, visit our website at externetsystems.com. Welcome back. We have Joe Alphabom from Ajax Union here in the house. I'm so excited to have you on the show again. So Joe, before the break, we were going over, so many things that people have to really, you have to have some pretty big ambitions and some pretty big motivations and to get you up in the morning, to get you going and to start your day. And you, again, my friend, you are my inspiration, I have to say. So I know you're huge in your social media branding. I mean, I see you everywhere. I'm super curious. What's your platform of choice?
Well, LinkedIn is definitely my platform where I network the most. Instagram is the one where I share like my personal life, and I also share some business things on Instagram, but a lot of it, I know my mother watches my Instagram more than she watches my LinkedIn. So I might share my kids, things like that on
No
Instagram as
swearing.
well. Yeah, exactly. No swearing. Clubhouse is where I kind of connect with my target market and build deeper relationships. And I go to kind of like learn things and engage in different rooms. Facebook, I hold very, very dear because I have a lot of very close friends that are on Facebook and business people that became friends. So I definitely use Facebook, but not as often as I use LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is my daily. Instagram, I also use kind of daily, but it's more about me creating on Instagram. So LinkedIn is about me also engaging and DMing. Instagram is kind of like, me just sharing information. And Clubhouse, I log in like 30 minutes a day. And so for me, it's where are my people? Where are the people hanging out? Where is my folk? I also use WhatsApp a lot. I'm on WhatsApp very often. So WhatsApp is probably the one that I use the most because there I have one-on-one meaningful interactions with my kids and with just family, with people. I'm part of a bunch of groups on WhatsApp, so that's been very, very beneficial, and it easily allows me to have like video chats and call people. Like right before we were talking, I just had a 10-minute conversation with a dear friend of mine. And I was like, dude, I really got to go, but I'd love to catch up with you next week. And, so that's kind of that. Oh, but Clubhouse is something a lot of people are asking about because it's brand new and a lot of people don't even know what it is. So I'm going to quickly describe what it is, tell you what
Curious.
it's about.
Yes.
And so there's actually a ladder of success. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is a step-by-step process, and you can actually see this ladder if you go to hostclubhouse.com. I bought a domain. I put a 1-hour video on there describing what Clubhouse is and how it works. But
Awesome.
it's actually a ladder of success. Most people are kind of like afraid. They're on the like way bottom. They're not doing anything. They're not even like, they're totally confused. They get in and they see a bunch of rooms. They're not sure what to do. Then they leave. They never come back. Then there are the people that are the listeners. They're listening, but they're not really yet ready to speak. They're just kind of like going there to listen. Then
That's
there
me.
are the casual speakers, the people that occasionally get on stage, but they're not really hosting their own rooms yet. They're not really moderating. They're kind of just like raising their hand and speaking occasionally. And then there's the master moderators, the people that are creating rooms, that they're collaborating, that they're doing all types of interesting things on Clubhouse. And I became a master moderator when I first went through, being disoriented, coming in, not sure what to do, then starting to listen and trying to see what other people are doing, then casually raising my hand, and then eventually knowing what it is that I needed to do. And I actually created a 9-step course that's available on hostclubhouse.com. After you watch that 1-hour video, you can then have the option to purchase that course with a workbook and everything else. And the reason I created it because so many of my engaged LinkedIn users are on Clubhouse and they're asking me, Joe, how do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? So I said, you know what? Let me create a simple masterclass that will teach you the 9 steps. And it's very, very simple. The 9 steps is very simple. The first 3 is all about setting up your foundation for success because you can't build a building on quicksand. It's not going to last. And so if you walk through the 9 steps, the first one is all about the foundation, then it's preparation, then it's experimentation. So in the foundation, you got to figure out what your objectives are, who your people, who's in your squad, who do you put in your squad on Clubhouse, and of course, making sure that you don't spend your whole day there because it could be super addictive. The next step is making sure that you prepare your one-liners, have the right profile, and understand ROI, and have some dashboards that you can track things with. And then finally, experimentation is all about being a great listener, understanding how to connect off Clubhouse, and the fortune is in the follow-up. And then finally, being a great moderator and collaborator, that's going to be the key for you to have success. So we have a 25-minute video in the course about how to be a great moderator, and people absolutely love it. We give you all the best practices for being a great moderator. And somebody that took the course recently got a paid gig to be a moderator because they showed that they actually know all the different things that they need to do. So that's really powerful. And so, there's systems and processes for everything, but realize that Clubhouse is just an app, it's just a tool. It's an audio only social media tool that's available for the iPhone only, that's invite only, that has 75% engagement. There's 10 million people on it right now. 75% are super engaged. Lots of speakers, lots of influencers are on there. And they're spending lots of time on there because it takes about 30 minutes to build up a room. So think about it. On LinkedIn, you go in for 5 minutes and you're out. Instagram, you kind of log in, you're middle of doing something else, maybe watching Netflix or whatever. You're giving it half your attention. But when you're in Clubhouse, you're totally focused. You're totally there. You're in it to win it. Because if somebody's going to ask you to speak, you got to quickly unmute yourself and you're live. So you can't just go be doing something else and be engaged in a room. So you have a lot of really engaged people, and that engagement has a tremendous amount of value. That attention, it's different type of attention. At the end of the day, social media is about attention, right? You want people's attention. On LinkedIn, you get it, it's a different type of attention that you get on a post or on an article. On Instagram, if you post something, it's different than if you write a story that's going to disappear in 24 hours. On Clubhouse, whatever you say is what you said in the moment. There's no recordings or anything. So you're either there or you're not there. And that's why people are really giving their attention there. So if you want to go deep with people, Clubhouse is a great place to do it. Now, in terms of other social media platforms, LinkedIn is one of the most powerful ones because you can easily get 30,000 followers on LinkedIn. It's hard to get 30,000 followers on other platforms because, try to go get Instagram followers. It's hard. I got over 700 Instagram followers just from using Clubhouse for a few weeks, and these are engaged followers. So now I'm up to like 6,000 something. But on LinkedIn, I have over 30,000 already, and it wasn't really difficult to do. It's the simple things you need to do, but you got to put in the time.
Got to put in the time. And, talking about Clubhouse, I've been on Clubhouse now for, I don't know, 4 months, 3 months, something like that. And I have to say, I'm still a little nervous to be able to get on there. You're going to have to help me on that one. But, I have lots of friends on it now, and I'm seeing that they're pulling me in and they keep wanting me to come into the rooms. And I'm like, now I'm in this room and I can leave quietly. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did I come in loudly? Like, what happened? Like, why is this a big deal now? And I have to leave quietly and everybody's going to know I left? Like, what happened? So I got a little nervous, I have to say.
Yeah. So when you're a speaker, like the whole concept of leave quietly, it's like, don't worry, you can leave whenever you want. Like, don't worry about it. Just, don't make an announcement that you're going to leave. That's telling you just leave if you need to leave. Don't sit there and say, okay, everyone, listen, I just wanted to thank everyone and make a whole speech because you're leaving. Just, hit the leave quietly button. But I always tell people is if you're afraid to leave quietly, just, go into the audience. So people know that you're in the audience now. You can downgrade from speaker to audience and people think you're still there. They see you in the audience and they feel good. And then after that, you leave quietly, like you wait a minute or two. So that's a good strategy for leaving without making people feel bad or thinking that you're going to make somebody feel bad where you suddenly leave. Another thing that you can do is you can stay on stage and you can change your background image to be right back. So people pull to refresh all the time, and you can have a variety of different background images that you can use. And some of the background images that I have just write BRB, so people know that I'm not there. And so you can do fancy and fun things on Clubhouse to really get to know it. But the truth is, you need to have a strategy. What is your plan? What is your strategy? Why are you on it? And once you know why you're on it, sometimes for me, I want to promote my LinkedIn course. Sometimes I want to talk about my business. Sometimes I just want to chill. Sometimes I just want to relax and meet other people and build relationships. I go into these random rooms and build meaningful relationships with people. And so, sometimes I want to talk about Ajax Union and, my high energy purpose, my energy marketing book I just came out with. And so there's lots of different things that I can be doing on Clubhouse, but the key is to understand your objective first, figure out who the people are, your squad that you'd be willing to talk to on any platform. Might as well talk to them on Clubhouse so other people can listen in and join in the conversation. And then figuring out your expectations of how much time you're going to spend on it so you don't waste your whole day on it. And once you have that as a foundation, you're much more likely to have the confidence to get up and talk. And part of confidence is also preparation. A lot of people, they're like, I asked them, what's your 15-minute intro? They're like, oh, Joe, you put me on the spot. I was like, dude, you should know your 15-second intro. You should know your 30-second pitch and your 1-minute bio.
Baby.
Yeah, you got it. Confidence comes from preparation. Like if you say, Joe, I want you to drop a rap right now, I have raps prepared in advance. So I can drop a rap at any time. I'm not worried about like, oh my God, is she going to put me on the spot? Is she not going to put me on the spot? What should I do? What should I say? Like, am I going to be smart? Is it going to be funny? Is it going to be good enough? I know it's funny. I know it's good enough. How do you know if stand-up is good? Stand-up is prepared comedy. It's not something that you just do on the fly. That's called improv. And improv, you get a lot of confidence by doing improv if you also have some stand-up bits that you can throw in there and things that you prepared in advance. Nobody that does improv is totally improv. They're improving based on stuff that they've already prepared, and they can rely on that while they mesh in what's really going on. Any rapper that you have, if they're really good at freestyling, it's because they've been practicing freestyling. So the fact that you're practicing freestyle means that you're not freestyling because you've already practiced it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Does that make sense? And I hired a rap coach to teach me. So like I had to figure out like, wow, this is really powerful. Like if you're really gonna put on a beat and really go for it, like any beat in the whole wide world, like this one, for example, can you hear it? Uh, uh, Here we go. My name is Joe, and I'm here with Lori, about to tell you that story. I ain't a fish. My name ain't Dory. This is what I'm gonna do right here. I'm gonna give you LinkedIn tips, LinkedIn clips, things that you can use every time you do the dip. Yeah.
Dip to the
Here we
dip.
go now. That's the idea. And you know,
I love that. Can you just be part of my world every day? I want to have a rap in my day every day.
yeah. Part of what I do when people wait for me in my conference room, I have Uber conference, and it allows me to put a custom audio. And in my conference room, while you're waiting, I have a little beat that you can listen to, and I do a little rap, and then I say, "Now it's your turn."
I think I was actually on one of your Uber conferences one time when we first met. I don't remember you asking me to do a rap, thank God, because we probably wouldn't have been having you on the show again because you've been like, that Lori, she has no clue how to rap.
It's okay if you don't know how to rap. Everyone has their own talent. You know how to dance.
I do. I love to dance. There's no question about that. Joe, all right. We've gone over such a great deal of information. Very, very, very helpful for sure. What's your prediction moving into the future with social media? Do you see it? I mean, are we going to have millions of people in Clubhouse? Are we going to like get rid of Facebook? Like what's happening out there and where are we going with it?
Well, we already have millions of people on Clubhouse, and
Okay.
a lot of people already got rid of Facebook, but there's still going to
I've
be.
already predicted it.
Yeah, so all that's already happening. You know, what I see happening is more customization. As people get used to getting what they want when they want it, you're going to have many more niched out audiences. The key is to really get clear on who your audience is and niche out as much as possible, because you're no longer going to be able to just mass market and talk to anybody, like, and talk to everybody, like do a Super Bowl commercial and you're speaking to everybody. It's all going to be about those niche audiences and those communities, and there's going to be more opportunities for the average Joe, just for like regular people that didn't have opportunities in the past. Now you have a voice, but if you try to get your voice to everybody, you're going to get more rejection than ever. So really being strategic is going to be the key in the future, and being really smart the way you use these tools, because there's many, many more tools coming out to us than ever before. If you look at the MarTech world, the sales MarTech world, the marketing technology world, if you look at it, what it was 10 years ago, maybe there was a little nucleus of a few technologies. Now there are thousands, tens of thousands of technologies that you can use, and it can get super overwhelming. So figuring out your strategy first is going to be the key to being successful. And then one of our companies, Ajax Union, is where we help B2B companies with their marketing systems and processes. And the foundation of that is having a really clear strategy. What are your goals? Who's your target market? What is your messaging? And we help companies identify that and get really clear. And then you can create a marketing funnel and then use all the different tactics out there to send people to your funnel. And this is more important now than ever, because advertising is only going to be more expensive. So if you don't niche down and you're trying to reach a market, you're going to be spending so much more, especially when all the car companies and mainstream media goes to social media. They haven't even started investing all the money that they're investing in TV and radio into Facebook, into like all these platforms. And once that starts happening, it's going to be way too expensive. Like just like it's too expensive to get on TV, it's too expensive to get a billboard. It's going to be too expensive to get on social media and advertise. But if you niche down and you know you're only targeting these 2,000 people, now suddenly it becomes much more economical, because mass companies can't do that. Mass companies are just going wide, spraying and praying. And instead, you are that ray of sunlight for the right people. And if you do that, you're going to be very wealthy, very successful. And that's why I always say, I don't want to go viral. I want to help 1,000 people go from frustration to motivation. My goal is literally not to go viral, but to go deep with the right amount of people like you, Laurie.
I love it. Well, Joe, I am super motivated, I have to say, and I appreciate you and all you do. Joe Alphabomb, you have been amazing, my inspiration, as I always say. I can't wait to do this again soon.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It really will be. All right, my friends, we'll connect. We will catch you later on Clubhouse or
on LinkedIn. If you want to find me on LinkedIn, you could easily find me at www.joelinkedin.com. I bought a URL that makes it really easy for anyone to find me. So if you're on a computer or on a phone, you just go to the browser, you search joelinkedin.com, not on LinkedIn, but just on the internet. You go to joelinkedin.com. It'll take you to my profile and you can easily connect with me. Just mention in the note that you heard me on Laurie's show. And the reason I want you to mention that is because I do have over 1,000 people waiting to connect with me, and I'm very particular who I allow into my network. And I'd love to connect with you. And I'd love for you guys to let me know that you saw me on Laurie's show. So make sure that you mention Laurie's show. And of course, go on your favorite podcast app and give her a 5-star review, because Laurie's energy is off the charts.
Woo! I love it, Joe. I love it. Make sure you give me 5 stars. I love it. All right, Joe. We will connect soon. Thank you so much for bringing your inspiration to the show.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon. Interested in being part of our show or advertising on our podcast? Contact us at info@fifthgenmedia.com for more information. We'd love to be a part of your success.